This week at Bungie. Not gonna lie, it's pretty straightforward. This is the first one that came out with the season. There's a lot of news flying around, so per se, there isn't much of news. There's more so a, hey, in case you missed it, TWAB. So just getting into everything on the start, they of course talk about the final shape teaser, which I have my own video on it. I'm sure thousands of other people have their videos on it. It's on YouTube. If you want to watch it, you can just probably search the final shape teaser. And I'm sure what you've seen on screen is already spoiler enough, but you know, you see more details about that. And Bungie, at the same time, had also re-announced their reboot slash sequel or whatever to their old game Marathon. If you didn't know, this was one of the, let's say, projects that Bungie worked on before Bungie or Halo or anything else like that was a thing. This was in their early days of development, and I suppose they're taking another swing at it. So this is the first official other game that Bungie will be working on that isn't Destiny in the longest time. So with that, of course, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Marathon the Game. If you go to the Bungie.net website, you will also be greeted with a Destiny or Marathon style entry. So if you want to learn more about, go ahead. Then there's, of course, reiterations of the PlayStation 2 collabs. Now, again, I'm just going to say this is my piece on it. Ghost of Tsushima. It looks awesome. I don't think we have many other samurai-based armor sets in the game, let alone for warlocks on their own. Looks great. Glows make it look awesome. The other two classes, they just look like their average piece of armor, but they stuck a Sony logo on it. Like, literally. The Hunters look like an average Hunter, but they had the Viking slash Aloy style color palette. And Titans just look like they had armor, but they stuck a red stripe on it. I get it's Kratos themed. He's essentially a shirtless man with white skin and a red tattoo. In the end, there's just not much on this. Like, if on his back he had the Leviathan axe or the Blades of Chaos, I would say, yeah, that looks great. But he doesn't. He just has a red stripe and average Titan armor. But aside from my complaints about that, they also talk about strikes related to all three classes. However, they are not class specific, but they are class generated, I guess. But then as well, they talk about the Last of Us collaboration, which, again, it's pretty simple. It's just a basic sparrow covered in cordyceps, but, you know, Last of Us theme. So we have a sparrow, a ship, and a ghost, all Last of Us cordyceps clicker theme. So with that as well, we also get a emote regarding Ratchet and Clank, which is a reference, but again, it's an emote. So then they also are doing another thing they did like last year, basically a cosplay slash other sort of stuff collaboration kind of thing. Here's details if you are all related to or are aware of cosplaying or that, but it's hard to say exactly what this is for. I might just be cosplay time and they would just want to hang out and share it, but you know, if you're into it, go for it. Then, as well, they recap on other things regarding Guardian Games, of course, Titan Win, Guardian Games Relief, and all that sort of stuff, as well as share or other details regarding the Guardian Games Cup, which I still took zero part in or was aware of 0%. But then, moving, of course, we have more Destiny 2 Archive and cinematics. This is the Distress cinematic where our Guardian Drifter and Zavala meets up with Sloane on Titan after everything. And then we get more details about dates coming up in the season. So, of course, the new dungeon, Ghosts of the Deep, arrives tomorrow at Reset. Trials also goes live tomorrow at Reset. Learn more about Trials at that link if you haven't been in it. And then next week as well, we get the first Iron Banner of the season, the first of 3. So, get your calendars ready and get the PvP sweat going. And then Grandmasters will start on early in July 13th, about 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from next week, let me say. And then Solstice will begin the next following Friday. Well, wait a minute, that math doesn't make sense. 5 days from here to... I guess it starts on a Friday. That might be weird. Although, it might also be a Saturday. There might be some wrong dates there. But aside from that, Guardian ranks, basically, they just wanted to reiterate. Guardian ranks have changed into a more seasonal thing where you don't completely reset. You still display whatever rank you were at last season, but this season, even though you did drop, you won't exactly lose it until, I guess, the season after that as well. So you have some time to catch up in case you actually wanted to get back to that. And then as well, of course, there's a medallion that is available for getting the Aquanaut title before August 22nd. So if you wish to acquire it, go for it. Then as well, a message from the archives. More of the Destiny 2 cutscene archives has been introduced. In this case, it's Lightfall and all the cutscenes from there. So if you ever felt like just watching back and seeing all the cutscenes in a little movie, they're existing from Bungie Direct. Now, of course, the player support update, a variety of things. Emblem ownership update started with the launch of Season of the Deep. Emblem ownership values were updated for security purposes. Players who have emblems on their account that do not appear in collections will no longer be able to equip these emblems, and players will no longer be able to see these emblems if they are still equipped. Those who are affected by this change need to reacquire these emblems through proper means by unlocking them from the Bungie.net profiles or on their platforms if they wish to continue using them. Players who have emblems unlocked on their Bungie.net accounts and platforms are unaffected by this change. Now, of course, new strand aspects. Basically, if you finish Deterministic Chaos on or after the Lightfall campaign, if you finish that quest, visit Nimbus and you'll have a quest to gain access to the new strand fragments available. And like I just found out, if you finish one, you finish all of them. So go ahead and get that done. Then, as well, dungeon launch, 10 a.m., aka reset tomorrow on the 26th. To access this dungeon, players will need to own the Lightfall dungeon key and acquire the associated quest from Hawthorne prior to launching the dungeon. Basically, the dungeon unlocks when you have the thing, you talk to Hawthorne and complete the go into dungeon quest. And Last Wish weapon crafting, like we mentioned before, well, the weapons are craftable in Last Wish now, so red borders will drop. Additionally, players can visit Hawthorne each week to acquire the Oak Deep Sight Mine quest to unlock the ability to purchase a previously obtained Last Wish weapon with Deep Sight upon completion. Now, of the known issues. Of course, there's a lot less than I expected, but still some with season launch. The electric armor and amped up artifact mod names are switched. These mods will still function correctly based on their descriptions, however. The Until Its Return shotgun's glare is disconnected from the weapon. The Dark Decider auto rifle does not have firing audio. Weapon or previous season ranks greater than 100 are displayed incorrectly in the Journey tab. Some subtitles will not appear during the Season of Deep opening cinematic. When equipping a sidearm or hand cannon, the player's view will shift slightly to the left. The portal to the helm does not open for players during the Into the Depths quest. Players may experience frame rate drops when opening Eververse store pages. And Season 19 clan staff has the incorrect title. We are aware of reports that exotic armor focusing is dropping with lower stats than intended and are currently investigating. And we are aware of investigating an issue where players are blocked from completing the Season 21 Into the Depths introductory quest. Players who don't auto-launch into the Descent mission must complete Lightfall's intro mission first, otherwise they will get blocked from completion. Then, of course, we get into the rest of the movies and art of the week, which Crota Pizza, yes. Drifter Casually Shopping, yes. And Rolk giving a caretaker a tour through, I don't know if his pyramid has a name, but the Sunken Pyramid. So with that is pretty much the end of the TWAB. Like I said, this isn't exactly a here's big news or we already identified something that's being nerfed sort of thing. It's more so a just here's what's happening in Destiny, here's some dates for you, and here's going into the rest of the season. With that, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.